Alright, man, we're gonna talk about these house rules and see how they apply. The first house rule that I start with is no player can start over another player if he's not within 5 points of that player's rating. I'll say it again. No player can start over another player if he's not within 5 points of that player's rating. Okay, so let's look at one of my leagues. It's a sim league, 32-man online sim league. And let's look at my corners. Now, my starting corner is a 76 overall. All right. And my next starting corner for me is a 71 overall. All right. So those are the top two positions. For anybody else to play over these guys, all right, anybody to play over them, they need to either have a higher rating or they need to be within 5 points. So like I said, Ambry Thomas is what? A 71 overall. My two rookies, Max Forbes, he is a 67, and Woods is a 66, okay? Both of those guys are eligible to start if I want to at that second corner position. Because why? They are within 5 points. If there was anybody on my team below that, a 65 or anything like that, they cannot start. And the reason why I'm talking about it like this is this. This is the third season of my league. Ambry Thomas and Lenore were rookies the first year. As you see, they are now in their third year of playing with me. They've always been in that range from 68 to 72, pretty much out of the box. I had at that time players who were better, regular, normal NFL caliber corners. Verrett, for example. And then the second year I went out and the first year I actually got Lane as well. So Lane's always been a guy who hasn't bumped up too much because of his age, but he was somewhere in the low 70s. But now he's a mid 70 corner, and that's pretty much where he's gonna stay. But the point is, I went out and got a rookie. I got a free agent that was out there in the last week of free agency. Lucky to get him, Bradley Roby. He was somewhere in the low 80s, I feel. But anyway, what happened was, as soon as I made the decision to go after Bradley Roby, it basically stopped. Not want to say stopped, but it took away the chance for Ambry Thomas to be a starting corner because the differential was more than 5 points, if that makes any sense. So as I go through my league and my seasons, that's how I make the decision on if I'm going to go after certain players, maybe in free agency. If I see somebody who's just sitting out there and nobody has taken a shot on him, nobody wants him because maybe he's a 30-year-old 79 corner. I think there was actually somebody out there like that who was in that low 80 something range. I knew that if I brought him on the team, Lane can start with him, right? He's a 76. Those would be the top two guys. And I would lose another year of Ambry Thomas, who's already kind of, some people would say he's lost a year. He's getting older. The sim reasoning behind this is, if you have a position, like I'm talking about just one position here, and you go out and in a sim league or in different leagues where you have online people, everybody wants speed and everybody wants youth. That's pretty much the way that guys play the video game part of it. But when you get older players who are out there, they will get picked up if somebody gets hurt in real life. But in this game, guys will try to hoard players that are low 80s, high 70s, maybe an older player, and just kind of hoard them on their team and just have them as a backup. I don't think that's realistic, right? AJ Boy, sitting out there at 79, I could pick him up right now. I have more than enough money to pick him up right now and not start him. I can put him on the bench. And if somebody gets hurt, then he can come in and play and maybe save a game or two. However, in real life, how often would a team sign somebody? Just even out of respect, AJ Boy, right? Even if it was somebody who's a little bit younger, Trey Herndon. Who would go sign maybe a Trey Herndon? Maybe he's not a great example, but who would sign a guy who's an established player in this league, bring him into a room full of young guys, and then just make him sit the bench? He wouldn't sign up for that. His agent wouldn't sign up for that. He would be disgruntled. it's just not realistic. So that's pretty much how I go about my decision making. And the last thing I'll say is when you work that type of decision making, what happens is your team is balanced overall from an experience standpoint at each position, and then constantly you're trying to build up and bring in guys who are younger and need development, or just a solid backup, right? Like for example, Drew Luck was available in my league during free agency, signed him to a pretty friendly deal. He comes in, he's going to be Trey Lance's backup, right? He can't start over Trey Lance because of the separation, but he's a good backup to have. He's also pretty young. Age wouldn't really matter in this situation. This is another one real quick. Mozart, he was 85, I believe, but Trey Sermon was a guy, again, a rookie. He came in. A lot of people, rookie year, would have started him over Mozart, right? I would have started him if I could have traded Mozart. So I tried to trade Mozart, but I couldn't get it done. So he ended up starting. Why? Because he was 5 points higher than Sermon. Now in year 3, Sermon has built himself up just from being, getting practice reps and getting some reps as the number 2. He's built himself up to be a starter if I want. He's within 4 points. He can start. It's up to me. I'm making my decision as we go along. But at any time, I can just switch those guys up in my depth chart and have it ready to go, right? So that's just one way to look at it. And that's pretty much, if you look at my team, if I got a young guy who's starting at a position, he's probably going to be backed up by a really older vet, right, who's kind of declined in his abilities because his rating's going to be, within 5 points of that guy, either way, or a young guy, right? And I think that helps my team be really balanced and be kind of set when it comes to money. I'm not spending lots of money on free agents or older players who are just sitting on the bench rotting away. I'm using the money appropriately, right? One more example, Fred Warner, he's a 99. I can bring in anybody behind him to be his backup, which is a nice luxury. So if there's a good linebacker, it happened last year, who's just sitting out there. I forgot who the guy's name was, but I think it was Blake Martinez. Nobody likes Blake Martinez as a linebacker, but he's a good, solid player that if Warner was to get hurt, he's like 80 overall, come in, get me through a game or 2, and that's it. So that's kind of how I look at it. Otherwise, if I was starting Gallery for some weird reason, Blake Martinez cannot be on the team. All right, I would have to get somebody within 5 points, either higher or lower, to be Gallery's backup, just to make sense to you. So that's the first house rule. Number 1 house rule, kind of the way to have to set my depth chart up and as I go along, and it kind of keeps me balanced, man. I like it. Makes it a little bit tough sometimes, so maybe build up positions fast, but I feel like guys who sometimes build up positions fast are doing it in an unrealistic manner. They're just playing the video game. That's it. They're just playing the ones and zeros. Talk to you later. Peace.